So right here on this basket, you see the two big guys, Mark Bryant, former NBA player, assistant coach right there in the blue shirt. They're working on post moves after practice, get a little physical, break a sweat. And on the far end of the court, you see Steven Adams shooting free throws along with Andre Robertson. And the rest of the guys are sitting down, icing down. I think Russell Westbrook's about to go talk to the scrum. Then we may, let's see here.
I'll take that. Good shot.
All right, I think. Russell Westbrook's about to talk scrum.
Go ahead, guys. Russ.
Russell, you know how difficult it is to put together an MVP season. How hard is it to maintain that level of play? Do you think Giannis is on track to do that this year?
I'm not sure. You just got to go out and compete on a level every single night.
I gotta be with you. No, I know.
That's good now.
You're just gonna do it with a stick mic, or you're gonna do?
All right, basketball fans, we're here. We have Paul George. Paul, it seems like now you have extra energy because the ball's not in your hands a lot. How are you feeling?
I feel great. It really has allowed me to play defense even more, step up my defense. And the more, these games has gone by, the more comfortable I've been, the more I can see where I can put other energy at. So I've been racking up on the steals, playing the passing lanes, being aggressive defensively. We got a guy like Russ who's going to, create a lot of offense for the team. I don't necessarily have to do that part of the game. I just have to be a shooter, still create and put the ball down on the floor a little bit, get guys shots, but it just makes me, be able to put energy elsewhere.
Yeah, speaking of shooting, I wish we had more time to get you on the floor for Shooter's Paradise, but on the road, your catch-and-shoot game has gone to another level. Do you feel like now because Russ and Melo on one side of the floor, you feel getting easier shots?
Absolutely. My whole game I've been used to putting it on the ground to get rhythm, whereas now I'm getting a lot of catch-and-shoot situations from Russ attacking and opening the whole floor up. So it took a little bit to get used to that, catching the rhythm early off the catch-and-shoot. But I'm starting to, find my way through that, and, shots are dropping.
Tonight, a guy like Giannis, he's off to a great start. Defensively, I know you'll be guarding him some. What's the mindset there?
Just challenge him. I love these matchups. Giannis has came a long way, honestly, and it's something great, as a guy like myself who love watching guys that play both ends. It's a joy to watch a guy that takes that challenge night in and night out. I've been in that same situation. But we're going to challenge him tonight. We're going to try to make it tough for him. He's off to a great start. But, he's got to, sustain that, and we're going to try to make it tough for him.
Players only.
Exactly.
All right, have a good one.
Yes, sir.
There it is, Paul George. He's ready for tonight. All right, let's go back over to scrum and hear what Coach Billy D has to say about tonight's game.
Billy, what's been so good from Raymond in that second unit, and how's he kind of solidified that backup post up?
Well, he's got I think he's got a great presence, on the court. He's a great communicator on the court. It's great working with him from my perspective, just to give him some thoughts and ideas with that second unit. I think he gets them organized. I think he directs traffic out there. I think when our team needs movement and cutting, he creates that. He needs to settle them down, he settles them down. He's done a really, really good job from day one, coming in just with his presence and helping that group.
You've had just pretty good net ratings across the board from your bench players. Is Raymond kind of the key piece of that?
Yeah, I mean, he's really important to that. I think anytime your point guard's back there, it's kind of like the catalyst, and he's kind of dictating and communicating what needs to be done, and whether it's dead balls or free throws, coming out of timeouts, on the court. I mean, he does a really good job. He's got such a good feel for the game. He's a really smart player. He's got a high IQ, and he can get things organized out there. And I think that probably speaks to the number of years he's been in the league, the different players that he's played with. I think sometimes in that second unit it does help us, the fact that he's already played with Carmelo. I think that there's an advantage there to that, being honest, that he knows Carmelo, they know each other well. I think they communicate very well. And then he's got the other guys involved, also.
Billy, you mentioned how Jeremy having a full training camp in Oklahoma City would be really good for him from a comfort standpoint. Where are you seeing him, becoming more comfortable in his game?
I think for Jeremy, the hard part was just when our team, changed, during the off season. His role somewhat has changed, and that hasn't changed in a negative. I think it's changed, in a positive. He's playing multiple positions. He's playing the 5. That's a little bit different for him. I think sometimes players hear the 5 spot, they get a little bit thrown back. And he's played the 4. And last year it was a 3 and the 4. So he's trying to figure out different ways to play against different players. But I think that is the last week or so, I think I've seen an uptick in him in terms of his energy, his motor, and the way he's been playing. And, we need him because of his athleticism, his shot blocking, things that he can do defensively at the basket, on the perimeter. It's important. So it's been good to see him get into a better rhythm and a better flow here the last week.
Seems like he's had the chance to maybe put the ball on the ground 1 or 2 dribbles and get all the way to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a factor in him playing a bigger position? He can be.
Yeah, I think sometimes with him at the 5, he can use his quickness and his speed to go around people and drive around people. And it's not like, I think in today's game, people hear the word center spot and they think just a guy that's playing at the block, going from block to block. And the game's changed, there's not to say he's going to be able to guard every center in the league, but there's a lot of centers that he can play against, and there's a lot of centers that maybe he'd have an advantage against because of his quickness.
Coach, you've seen how the challenge of maintaining an MVP level of play for an entire season. Do you think Giannis could do that, or has the ability to do that?
Yeah, I don't know him well enough to. Jason's probably better off to answer that than I would be, because he's with him every single day. Obviously, he's a terrific player. Through the first 6 to 8 games that everybody's played, he's played exceptionally well. I've always been a big fan of him as a player because I think he plays the right way. He's long, he's a good passer, good defender, shot blocker, can start the break, plays the point. But in terms of him having the stamina to go through 82 games, Jason and Giannis are probably better to talk to than I would be.
It starts with Giannis, but what are the challenges tonight for your team?
Well, they're very long. They're a good defensive team. They get out in transition quite a bit. They do a really good job playing in the deep paint. They have shooting with Middleton and Snell out there, and Brogdon. They've got a really aggressive defense. They force a lot of turnovers. So I think we'll be challenged defensively, be challenged offensively. It'd be a great test for us here tonight.
There were times last season where you actually had Victor on Giannis a couple of different times. Are there advantages to using a smaller guy on him?
Well, I think he's, somebody that, like anybody else in the league that's a really good player, he requires 2 people to be on him, whether he's driving to the basket or in pick and rolls or in screening actions, you're not going to be able to handle him with 1 player. And I think the best players in the league, are the guys that can generate 2 on the ball, and then they can make decisions. What makes him so special is he can get 2 on the ball, and he's a really elite passer because he has such great size to see over the defense.
Your communication on the scrambles then must be really important tonight.
Yeah, our defense, protecting and being able to build back out and find shooters and keep the ball in paint because, again, like I said, they do a great job getting out in transition, do a great job attacking the basket. They're not taking an enormous amount of 3-point shots, but they have guys in the perimeter that are more than capable. Even Maker at the 5 spot gives them a little bit of a stretch big man that, a lot of times trails and shoots 3. So, there's a lot that goes into defending them, to your point, that it's not just, okay, double team Giannis or play him with 1 person or, just guard him one-on-one and then stay home, or you're going to have to do multiple things against them. Because the defense is always going to be played with 5 people.
Anybody else for Coach?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Close there.
Okay, basketball fans, you got a little taste of OKC shoot around, Coach Billy Donovan, and give me a little take on what they're looking to do tonight and how can OKC can continue to get that chemistry right with all the new faces. Also, you heard from Paul George. He's enjoying catching and shooting and all the extra energy being off the ball. All right, see you tonight. Bucks versus OKC 3 on NBA TV, players only, brought to you by Verizon.